It's breaking news from Sportskeeda.com, and a big tip of the cap to Raj Giri of Wrestling Inc. A late story on a day that has already been filled with so much wrestling news, both controversial and positive. One of the most popular names in the WWE reportedly could have been released by the company, but she isn't saying anything, and WWE isn't saying anything just yet either.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Gotta love StreamYard, Jeremy. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. What's up, everybody? It is 11:42 in the Central Standard Time Zone. We're an hour or so removed from AEW Dynamite, a pretty eventful episode, and a very eventful episode of Sportskeeda's Top Story, which we do around 5 p.m. Central, 5:30 Central. For you guys every single day, and that's on demand. You can get it on our podcast. You can get it on our Facebook page or YouTube. It's all there. So we already had this big Vince McMahon story, which was already controversial as it is, and that's a developing story that could get fizzle out. It could get more serious.
Deflection?
What?
Deflection?
I don't know if this is a deflection. I mean, everyone's already speculating about that. But let's get into the story here at hand. Raj Giri, who is a very reputable source, I would describe him as kind of one of the top reputable sources in wrestling, who's broken some big stories, and also had some other stories, kind of like denied or different things like that. It happens. We've had it happen to us too. So I trust Raj with this, and we kind of waited and we waited and we waited. And then we get some other things from other sources. Old Millennium Meltzer himself, Sean Ross Sapp, saying the sources he reached out to wouldn't deny the story. So that was a little bit more telling. WWE reportedly releasing Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks has not been active on WWE television since May, when she walked out of the company along with one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Naomi, when they reportedly did not agree with what was presented to them for competition that night. Sasha was set to be set up for a singles match against the Raw Women's Champion, Naomi, against the SmackDown Women's Champion. Both the Women's Tag Team Champions would get singles matches. That night, that would start the road to what would be Hell in a Cell from a few weeks ago. And apparently they didn't like that. Now, WWE put out a statement calling them unprofessional. They let down the fans. And at the same time saying that they didn't feel safe with what was said in the ring. Now, an intermediary, not Naomi or Sasha, puts out a story saying that isn't true. And other sources kind of say that as well. So I want to know what fans are thinking. Obviously, Sasha Banks fans are very devoted, very loud on the internet, and have a lot of takes. And we expect you guys to show up and have a take here as well. I know the diehards are with us here really, really late at night. I really love you guys for doing that as well. This is a story where I know we're going to go into the next day covering this. And obviously, we'll find out more about it. We may even get a confirmation at some point in the morning. And who knows? This may be dated stuff. That's why we waited about this. So there's still so much we don't know about this story.
Yeah.
So WWE releasing her, and it's an obviously the timing of it isn't out. It's worth noting WWE hasn't said anything yet. I think that has to be said. They haven't put out, we wish her well in her future endeavors, the standard stuff. That hasn't happened yet. But what a loss, right, Jeremy, if Sasha Banks isn't in the WWE anymore.
Yeah, and of course, we've been reporting ever since they had walked out on May 16th, so literally a month ago tomorrow, or today, depending on where in the country you are right now. It was reported that her contract and Naomi's were up within 2 months, which would have put it at around the middle of July. So now it almost is like, well, is WWE releasing her in June so she then has to have a 90-day no-compete clause, and then is basically tied up until middle of September now? That's the kind of the question with the whole thing about releasing her before the contract, and that's another question that's going to have to go answered. Of course, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted, he put this out about an hour ago. They spoke with Raj this afternoon and asked WWE about this. As of this evening, they haven't heard that, and Talent Relations doesn't seem to know. Not saying that it didn't or isn't happening, but this is what I've heard so far. When I asked, Raj has good sources.
Yes. And people I reached out to in the last hour or so were who have had experience with the company. They couldn't tell me whether or not it was true. They said that would be a massive loss. That's what I was told by somebody who has done some work with WWE. They described it as a massive loss if it's true. So let's look at this story. The circumstances of Sasha leaving are pretty big and pretty controversial, to say the least. And then the timing with obviously the Vince McMahon story. I don't think this is tied to that at all, by the way. And I don't think this was done at that time. Could this be done to keep Sasha Banks, as you theorized, away from the graces of
Matt
all
says
wrestling?
here, her contract, but if they freeze it, that's the other question that we don't know an answer to is, well, what if they froze the contract? So then they could keep her past that. So I don't know. It didn't sound like they were going to freeze when they were checking into that, but there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered up until this point.
Queen Monet saying, if it's true, it's going to be weird knowing she'll never walk through the curtain onto WWE again. It's true. It's also worth noting, you're not going to see her perform as Sasha Banks. That's a WWE name. It's a WWE property. The Boss, all those things, that look almost, the way the gear looks, by the way, WWE owns that. Those are IPs that you have. You performed as a WWE character. So other fans kind of timing in, let us know what you think. John Woodmas running to this conclusion. AEW, AEW, troll. Deshaun Rogers saying, I'm done with WWE. I don't know. I mean, she walked out on WWE. I don't know if this is the case and they can't come to terms.
Everybody's done with WWE.
Everybody's done with
according
WWE.
to the internet.
According to the internet, but they're all still going to watch and talk about it on the internet. Apparently, you're so done with it, but you want to read about it, and you want to tweet about it, and all those different things.
Looks like Sean Ross Sapp just tweeted out literally 46 seconds ago. Gathering what all I do and do not know about the Sasha Banks situation for a Fightful Select post, and will constantly update it the best I can. So there'll be something coming.
Sean Ross Sapp is a planet in the wrestling universe, and we just revolve around him. God bless.
So
you.
he'll be posting what he does and doesn't know here shortly. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to know anything new with that post or anything like that. Of course, he did. Like I said, he made Sean Ross Sapp did make a statement a little over an hour ago in regards to Roger's tweet.
Sasha is done with WWE for good. We'll see. Frantic world where there's smoke, there's fire. I think it's true. After the news came out about Vince McMahon, of course, that unrelated story with the reported $3 million scandal and all these different things. I don't see Sasha and Naomi going back to WWE. It's worth noting, Naomi's not in this story. This is just Sasha Banks that we're hearing about right now.
Yeah, and I've said it before on the show. There's definitely probably a door to have Naomi return to the WWE. Obviously, could join the bloodline because Roman Reigns is going to be out. They're going to need somebody to join the Usos and do something if Roman's going to be out most of the summer. So I would assume the doors probably was originally more open for Naomi than Sasha anyways. And so that could possibly still happen. We just haven't heard anything yet. And Naomi's contract is literally up around the same time as Sasha. So this is really going to be a situation we're going to learn a lot more about over the next 30 to 60 days.
And James Allward, she won't be going as the Boss or Sasha Banks, maybe Mercedes. Of course, Mercedes is her real name. Yeah, and that's how she was also credited in the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, one of the biggest streaming shows on the internet. I'm inclined to think that she has a big future in Hollywood. That's a big show. She has a huge credit from it. She's very, very young. She also has a following. I think when you get casted in a big show, if you have a following, you bring that following to the show you're on, and wrestling has seen that. So I think I know everyone rushes to the idea that she's going to show up in WWE, she's going to show up in All Elite Wrestling as soon as possible. I'd be more inclined to think, no, she can be in LA, talking to agents and trying to, seeing what other shows she can be in and all these different projects. I also think she's someone who's incredibly passionate about professional wrestling. I know people that have worked with her before she was in WWE. I know people that have worked with her while she was in WWE. She's very, very passionate. And when she had the walkout before, in 2018 or so, there was that reported, very frustrated 4 months out. Vince, convinces her to come back and all these different things. It's kind of crazy that this is happening again under these circumstances, and then everything else. And so it's just kind of crazy. I know a lot of people are just assuming that she'll be in All Elite Wrestling. I don't know if that's a given. I really, really don't know if that's a given, just considering the kind of ecosystem of talent and names that All Elite Wrestling has right now.
I could very well see
Not right
it.
now. You know what I mean? Because we don't know the terms of this release. We don't know if this is an
Yeah.
agreed release. We don't know if this is a frozen contract. We don't know if her deal is just up and they just said, all right, we're just going to axe the rest of this deal and let it ride
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that are still have to be answered here. Yeah, I could see AEW. I could see Impact, especially with their Hollywood career. You only have to work at Impact once a month, maybe twice a month if you have a pay-per-view special, a Saturday special event, or a straight-on pay-per-view that is on your cable systems. So she really only has to work 2 to 3 times a month there. That's conducive to a schedule like that. AEW, they don't have live shows. They have Rampage, which is taped half the time after Dynamite. So that she could very well do either job with either schedule.
Liam Healy, I agree with the frustrations that Sasha and Naomi shown regarding the WWE Women's Tag Team division. However, I believe as superstars, they have a responsibility to follow the instructions as part of a contract. It's true. There's some people that said that too. I'm a little bit of column A, column B. I don't think my opinion is certainly important or should dictate to you what you should think at all or how you should decipher these stories. But the whole thing is very frustrating. I feel for Sasha and I feel for Naomi if they felt so inclined to not perform on television that night that during the broadcast they decided to go this route. I feel for them because that's a very stressful situation to be in. But I also feel for everyone else who had to perform around those situations and produce a show under that stress and still be delivering for the fans. I think just isolating it to them versus WWE is simplifying the issue and kind of dehumanizes everyone else that's involved. And I don't think that's fair to them either. So getting to people back in here. What the hell? I'm seeing what the hell?
What the hell, Bobby?
Bobby?
Man.
Wrestling?
I don't know.
A lot of comments here. Sasha Banks can be the one to end Jade's championship run. Yeah, she goes to AEW. You want to get hypothetical? We're 12 minutes in here. If she goes to AEW, here's the problem. They have too many names. They have too many big names that they can't even feature on the 3 hours of television they have a week over 2 different nights. They have too many big names. That would and I don't know where you work a character like this in with this type of fandom, and
you also don't know whose contracts are up this year too.
Exactly, and I she's not gonna be cheap. You're not gonna get her cheap. You're not gonna get her showing up on All Elite Wrestling for a small amount of money. And what does that look like to the locker room when yet again somebody else comes over from WWE? And you're treating WWE like it's your developmental territory when it's really not. It's your competition.
Well, at the same time, you gotta produce, and if someone's doing better than you, they're gonna take your spot. Yeah. So that means those people need to step up. It's
just so circumstantial. You know what I mean? Obviously, if John Cena said he wanted to go All Elite Wrestling and you could get him, you should get him, right? If Sasha Banks is available, Mercedes, if she's available and you can get her. But you're going to have those diehards. They're going to say, look, I want the people I've been watching to get something. And then your booking kind of becomes inconsistent.
Those people have also had 3 years to prove themselves. And if they haven't,
you're right.
If they haven't, then
I want to make sure I get the comments here. I'm not trying to cut you off here. Sasha is leaving wrestling for good in Hollywood. Thanks, Snoop Dogg, her cousin, Snoop D-O-double-G.
She's got a couple connections.
Yeah, she's a couple connections.
She's
in one of the biggest streaming shows in television.
Did you just pull the Andy Samberg there? Thanks, Snoop. D-O-double-G.
Sasha is now out of jail. She was never in jail. Okay? She was never in jail. Getting paid a downside guarantee or suspended without pay, right? Still not in jail.
Now maybe they're referring to WWE as jail.
No, I don't think it's out of line to say that she's probably one of the most compensated, female superstars in the company. At the time of doing this,
they could be calling WWE jail. You never know.
Come on. It's just such a ridiculous phrasing. I would never say that about anyone else who's put in the same situation. Is MJF in AEW jail? Is he in Tony Khan jail?
Yes.
It's such a
hypothetically, yes.
I know, but it's just a dumb alarmist type thing to say. That's all I'm saying. No, Barry, you're not dumb, but I'm just saying the word jail in that circumstance might be. Love you, Barry. Barry's a good name. I like people named Barry are good.
Still hitting that
okay, saying MJF Sasha trade? Can we do trades? Are they going to do trades now?
Well, no, not until 2024 because MJF is still under contract.
Oh man, here. Samda saying WWE doesn't need someone like Sasha. You don't walk out. You don't walk out. You do.
You don't walk out of my company.
Yeah. And their contracts are frozen, says Samnas. We don't know that. We don't know the terms of. We don't even know. Honestly, guys, we're saying this, but this is just reported. This is not confirmed. And because of the time of this report coming out and it being so late, we felt, hey, let's get on this and we'll follow up with another show as soon as we can.
Gonna need you to give up your belts and and apologize to the roster and wish you well in your future endeavors. I might be just talking to myself though.
Let me ask the people in the chat, smash the like button if you think this is actually going to happen. Does she go to AEW? Do we see Mercedes? How do I say her last name properly? Have I never?
I don't know. I don't see it enough in print to know off the top.
Yes, and I would hate to just assume what it is. So
Varnado, is it Varnado like Sharknado or Varnado?
I don't want to say it wrong. We're professionals. I'm sorry, guys. It's like almost midnight. It's midnight now.
This is Mercedes, my third show of the evening, by the way.
I don't know, and that's why I'm letting you lead on me. Mercedes Varnado is her full name. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say that incorrectly. I'd rather look it up and not. Well,
I didn't know if it was the A like the shark. It rhymes with Sharknado. It could be Vernado. You never know.
So this will be interesting to see how this plays out and develops here.
So far, nothing updated from Sean Ross Sapp, but that Fightful Select report is going to be on its way here shortly. So it'll be interesting if there's any new information, if he's found out any new information. Obviously, it's been an hour and a half since he's talked about it. So there very well could be some new information that's come to light with him talking with his sources here. So
here's your take. Bailey comeback. Bailey's been on the shelf since having a leg injury almost the summer, almost about a year now. She's been on the shelf. Very serious one, training for the big comeback to the road, and then that doesn't happen, and so upsetting. Quite the run for them as a team. Their Hell in a Cell match was awesome. So we get Bailey coming back. I mean, Bailey coming back right now would be good shot in the arm for WWE's creative with everything going on right now. I think you need her. You need a fresh person in that mix. You need someone fresh to get in there with Ronda Rousey, someone who would be conniving and certainly a huge, larger than life personality. And I would definitely make hardcore fans kind of like, ooh, galvanize them. She's been on the shelf a long, long time. I think it'd be interesting. It's also worth knowing if Sasha's not there, the original 4 horsewomen of NXT that broke out in that first class that included Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, Sasha. One of them's gone. Now we don't get that big 4-way match that fans always wanted. That massive WrestleMania dream match that's always kind of been on the shelf that WWE could go to. That's not available now. Sasha's not there.
Yeah, and and also, you always wanted that 4 horsewomen possible, Survivor Series team, elimination match team, the traditional elimination match. You're never gonna get that now either, if this is the case. They had many chances to give that to us, especially with the other 4 horsewomen they had, but then they got they let go of Marina Shafir, let go of Jessamine Duke, and now that's kind of no longer at our wayside. So right there, we just did a show after Dynamite tonight called Getting Over on Twitch. So search for Sportskeeda Wrestling to those 200 people watching us right now, as Jose G, who's normally with us on Top Story, we have a little fun. We do a little debrief of AEW as well as play a little some wrestling video games. So every Wednesday after Dynamite. So make sure you head over to Twitch and give us a subscribe ski, and hopefully kill enough time for Sean Ross Sapp's report. But it doesn't look like it's coming any second.
Sean doesn't owe it to anyone. He doesn't owe it to anybody.
Nope.
And here we go. Brian Dunlap. These wrestlers should spend a month getting dirt sheet wages and then talk. Wages. You're talking about my wages, man.
Dirt sheet wages. What are dirt sheet wages, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. What are they?
Okay.
I don't know what those are. I can tell you what mine is.
We all getting paid by Tony Khan, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're all. I mean, once Tony sends me the check, I'll start saying nice things about AEW. I mean, that's the way it works, right?
Every match
That's
is 6
broadcast
stars.
ethics. That's broadcast ethics 101, right?
Yeah, every match is 6 stars.
Matthew Lopez, Mercedes. All right, we're already trying to go down that road. Mercedes, Sasha. We'll say Sasha Banks until she has a new ring name. Sasha Banks in AEW Impact would be awesome, or even the ROH Women's Division would be awesome. Well, what is the ROH right now under the AEW banner? We're not exactly certain what that is.
Yeah, we have no idea who is going to get retained in that. You know, Roxy is obviously not there anymore. Who knows? You know, Willow Nightingale's, they're still showing her, so maybe they'll put some of those younger women over there. I would assume that they would still continue the women's division, but I don't think Maria Kanellis is with them. I think that they're basically committed to Impact now. So that's a true question mark when it comes to Ring of Honor and what direction they're going to go. But we'll definitely. Oof. I mean, there's gonna be a lot. We're gonna have a lot coming out here in the next month or two for sure.
Some interesting stuff here. Imran saying she'll eventually come back to WWE. They usually do. Look at Drew McIntyre. He was in WWE and then went to Impact and eventually came back to WWE.
Well, this is a weird situation, though. You got Drew McIntyre, you got Jinder Mahal. Those were people that were way down the card, and they left to get better and came
This is
back.
a big name. This is a big name talent.
This is a different situation. I mean, obviously there's never say never in pro wrestling, but it's not like a Drew McIntyre situation because he literally reinvented himself to the badass that we knew he was, that he is today when he debuted at Impact Wrestling.
Of course, it's worth noting as we kind of cover this story, we're just hearing about Sasha Banks right now. We're not getting any information about Naomi. So here is Sakil Khan, no relation. What about Naomi? Is she still with WWE? As far as we know, she's still suspended and under contract with WWE. Is that contract frozen? Is that contract coming up? Do not know. It's also worth noting that this story, broken by Raj Giri earlier tonight, for just joining us, is just reported. All right. And there's no confirmation in terms of full details on this story, but WWE sources can't confirm or deny this story themselves. So this is why it's developing, and it's late at night, and we kind of know the way the news cycle is. People will go to bed and they'll wake up and they'll be talking about it here.
Fightful was slow to load, so I was having hope that it was getting updated, but not.
There we go. And people with different takes here. Christian Gonzalez, Naomi isn't going anywhere. She'll eventually come back and join the bloodline. Definitely come back as a heel. Well, no, she'll be gone for a while, and people will pop just to see her come back. So then, how are you a heel?
Well, they'll pop if she joins the bloodline, though, because people have wanted that ever since this thing was created. And like I said earlier in the show, I mean, Roman Reigns is going to be kind of a gone, so they're going to kind of need to do some things. And I don't think they have plans on calling up Solo Sakai at this point in juncture. So adding Naomi is definitely going to help. Hell, that throws in a great cross-branded feud if you want to put that together with the Judgment Day. So
it'll be interesting how this plays out, and I appreciate everyone being reasonable in their conversation. Reasonable. That's all you can ask for is reasonable civility. And people asking for bans in the chat. Could you ban this person? Marco, she's gone. She's finished. Son, I'm done with her.
WWE's done.
Done. They're so done.
They're gonna go bankrupt.
Sticker saying, "Hey, it's the WrestleZone guy. What are you talking about? You mean WrestleZone?" I have no idea what you're mentioning there at all.
Raj Giri just tweeted, Jesus, I had a great time at the Stanley Cup final. He lives in Colorado, so he was at the Lightning and Avs game tonight. But now I'm stressed. A lot of threatening DMs.
DMs.
Some need to calm the fuck down.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at Raj having that situation. Because maybe it's very stressful, but I'm just darkly I'm darkly looking at the way people consume these things and deal with them in real time.
So Raj says a lot of threatening DMs. Some people need to calm the fuck down. I will say
Yeah.
this.
If you're s-
Hold on.
yeah.
I will say this. If I'm
Mhm.
wrong, I'll never post an exclusive from my sources again. I'm done. I trust my sources, but I'm fine with being done too.
All right. Big stuff there. And also, why would you threaten someone? Why would you threaten somebody?
Because
Makes no
wrestling
sense.
Twitter has a bunch of idiots that are keyboard warriors that think they're cool.
Mhm.
And yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Christopher Ryan Cooper with us all the time. Thank you. Thanks so much, CRC. Man, this is crazy. I really did not see this happening. Really hope it's not true. I wouldn't mind this not being true either. If WWE, I mean, mind you, it doesn't look like it is, and it looks like it's going in that direction. But if WWE could find a way to get her back in the fold, that would be something. That would really be something, and a controversial return with all of that hype that the internet would give it would be amazing. What if she showed up on SmackDown or Monday Night Raw or showed up at Money in the Bank? It'd be insane. People would lose their minds. The reaction to it.
Be funny. She shows up and Pat McAfee goes, "That's Mercedes," like it's an outsider situation. That's Mercedes and Trinity. The outsiders are here. Smack.
They're not supposed to be here. They're not supposed to be here.
What are they doing on SmackDown?
That would be ridiculous. Watch, they're gonna show up at Dynamite in a few weeks with like the denim jackets on, like Scott Hall had when he walked out of the 90s.
Throwing up the 2 sweets.
Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. People lighting candles. They're lighting candles. We have people lighting candles for Sasha Banks leaving WWE. K-Ron Dude, if released today, is Sasha on a 90-day no-compete agreement? Here's the thing. We just don't know.
Depends on the contract situation.
Yeah, it's a completely... Well, the word is that the contract was coming up soon. Okay, so the contract was
about a
coming up
month
soon.
from now. So if the contract, if they froze the contract, the most they could stretch this out is probably 30 days past that contract date, which may word is it's somewhere in July. So then the most that it would push it out,
that would put you deep into the fall,
somewhere into August.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be 30 days from tomorrow, or 30 days from today is when they walked out. So there's a lot of questions. Okay, thank you to my good friend Matt Black, who is a Sportskeeda and WrestleZone writer, and
thank you, Matt,
my co-host from my old podcast, Lost in the Midcard. The story is live now, so let's. It was live, and I hit refresh. So where'd it go? Come on, internet.
Internet.
I'm gonna
leave me alone. Leave me alone, internet. What we do and do not know. Thank you from Fightful Select. Go subscribe, by the way, to Fightful Select. It's very worth it. And if someone tells me I shouldn't be saying that, stop it. So SRS speaks with Giri hours prior to the informed information, and reach out to numerous WWE sources. Got stated back, not that I've heard in regards to the release. They confirmed later they saw Gary's tweet, but didn't comment beyond thus far. Thus far, nobody in WWE has explicitly shot it down. They're just saying they haven't heard about it. This as it pertains to talent, front office, public relations, and staff. As Sasha Banks has been released, the company has kept it very quiet. Contacts close to talent relations were unaware of a release as of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
They exhausted several sources this afternoon, weren't able to get anyone to respond. Sasha Banks remains on the roster page at WWE.com. And there haven't been any internal memos sent out to the staff tonight. So people in the staff will get a memo about this.
Yeah,
if this was true before it was public.
All right, I got logged into Patreon, so here we go.
Mm-hmm.
For those asking about Raj Giri's report of Sasha Banks being released, here's what we know. As we mentioned, Sean spoke with Raj this afternoon.
This is just what I covered. I just opened it up myself here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's what I just covered. So that's what's going on. That's okay. It's okay, dude. We're doing this in real time, Jeremy. You're a good man.
I was busy logging in, so I wasn't listening.
There you go. You're faithful to me. And so it popped up on my email, so I went with it. I miss the days when the most eventful days in wrestling are what happened in the squared circle.
Not this week.
Not this week. But,
Not this week, pal.
yeah, you look like Matthew Broderick with a beard. There you go.
Bueller.
And then we have people saying this is because WWE is being sold. This is all because WWE is being sold.
Walt Disney's buying it.
Yeah, Disney's buying it, and they're going to turn it into a theme park. All those different things. I've heard that a million times here. I appreciate everyone for being reasonable with this story, because we've had so many people be unreasonable on another story that we covered today. So I'm very thankful for that. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Late night show. Very, very thankful for it. We have people going to the gym at 6 a.m. in England right now. Just found out about Sasha. In my opinion, if WWE never done her right compared to Charlotte, same goes for Naomi. I don't know if that's the case. Sasha was treated like a big star at many, many points in her career, and also got to headline WrestleMania, and got to be a huge, huge star for the company, and got to do a show on Disney Plus because she was a big star in WWE. To say her run in WWE was not eventful, then you wouldn't care about this. We wouldn't be doing a show for half an hour at midnight. This is a huge star. This is why fans care. WWE contributed to that. Obviously, she made herself a big star with what they gave her as well. And there's some great moments. It's not all bad. Some magnificent matches. If we don't see Sasha Banks wrestle in WWE again, there are some absolute certified classic bangers and great storylines and amazing stuff. The stuff with her going heel on Bayley and tearing off the Bayley costume from the ring in front row, and the match in NXT TakeOver, and the match against Bianca Belair, and that rise and that promo and the breakup with Bayley. There's a ton of great stuff there. There's a ton of great stuff you can go watch with Sasha in WWE.
One-time NXT champion, 5-time Raw Women's champion, 1-time SmackDown champion. So she's been the champion on 7 occasions. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe for her not being the woman at the top of the card was frustrating for her. That's the elevation that she truly wanted. She wanted to be the person, or maybe she wanted to make the women's tag team titles the title for people to watch. A lot of frustration. The frustration's real, and fans will go with the person they love. And we've certainly seen that in the digital era. Is that fair to say? I think that's a reasonable take on this entire situation. If Sasha Banks is released, I'm sure WWE would publish it to be petty.
Well, no, they got to publish it because they're a publicly traded company.
Yes, that's why they would have to publish it, not to be petty. And other people saying this isn't surprising. They saw this kind of coming in this way. Were you surprised by this news? Did you ever think that maybe they would figure things out?
No.
I mean, because
I figured Naomi would be back, but not Sasha.
Okay. That it was just enough, because she had a walkout like this before, and here we are.
I don't know. I mean, this is worse than the other situation. So I just don't think. I think the public shaming of it, and I just think this time it's done.
Neil asking, so is it confirmed or just a rumor as of now? It's not confirmed by WWE or Sasha Banks, but we have good verifiable sources reporting that this is happening. So,
yep.
And if this isn't true, I don't think you'll see this video up much longer. so we'll say that. I will say this. This is something we waited a while and felt, all right, we're having enough people ask us about it. We're having enough.
We waited for Sean Ross Sapp to send the tweet.
There we go. Thank you.
He never did.
All right. Thank you guys so much for checking out Sportskeeda Wrestling here on YouTube, here on Facebook, and all those different things. We are live with Sportskeeda's top story 5 days a week in the 5 p.m. Central hour. Just make sure your notifications are on. Sometimes we go at 5, sometimes we go at 5:30. You can watch it on demand. We have an episode covering the McMahon story and everything going on with that. We have interviews up with Bret Hart and Sasha, with Trish Stratus. All these different things. Go check it out. I
bet tomorrow we're going to be talking about Jeff Hardy, Vince, and Sasha Banks. Just
great wrestling stories that all have positive outcomes to them.
A wild guess is that's going to be a mix of tomorrow's top story. Yeah. Speaking of top story,
this isn't right. We always yell, watch out at the beginning of the show.
Walk out. For the diehards, by the way, we will be going a little later tomorrow than normal. Yeah. We normally go at either 5 or 5:30 Central. We're going to be going around 5:45 Central tomorrow, so a little later. So if
I'll be with you. I was not supposed to be with you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Kev's going to be with us.
Yes, people saying bye, girlfriend. Oh, we're your internet girlfriend. Thank you so much, Kenny.
Wow.
You
I don't want to know.
you sassy little divas.
I don't want to know what he's doing watching
Thank
this
you.
show.
All right, Kenny. We're your sassy little divas. I appreciate that. I will be busy this weekend. You're busy on Twitch with Getting Over. Definitely go subscribe to our Twitch channel. Maybe we need to do a watch along at some point. That's where we should do our watch alongs. I think maybe that's something we need to put in there.
Yeah.
And also, thank you guys so much. Check it out. It's up at the fresh takeover of what's going on with our WWE GM mode is up right now. And what you guys have going on, bringing a big legend into the territory.
Oh, we're stacking the deck, man, and we made some cuts today. We had to wish a couple people the best in their future endeavors, like Big E. Unfortunately, Big E went
you released Big E?
We did not re-sign Big E because he went 0-5. We even put him in a tag team title match this week.
Got win
with Drew McIntyre. And guess who ate the pen? Big E went 0-5. So we are not re-signing Big E. We did re-sign AJ Styles though, so he remains on our brand. And we had a good show. We had some Uncle Dave he did screw us a couple of times. Still has SmackDown in his pocket, but we're rebounding nicely and we're setting some things up.
People asking where's the merch? Don't worry, we're working on it. We are working on merch. I wanted to sign off, but then I got this great question from Crayon Dude.
Shopwatchout.com. No, I'm kidding. It's probably not a website.
I want to do a t-shirt. Give me a thumbs up if you guys want this. I want a t-shirt that just says watch out, watch out, watch out across the entire front of the t-shirt. That's all it says. Crayon Dude says, with Sasha and Vince news, okay, of course, two big stories. Do you think this will negatively affect WWE's future television deals? That is such a big question to bring up. The crazy story about Vince McMahon is still so developing. And I'll say this, I think WWE is such a property that has so many fans and it's so prominent and it has so much legacy that can WWE just exist as a company without Vince McMahon? Yes, I do.
The Sasha news has zero to do with the TV deals.
No.
The Vince news.
I mean, mind you, if you lose every big female star you have in the company, maybe we're talking about something else.
Well, once again, you're a publicly traded company. If this Vince news is true, the board of directors can kick his ass out of the company. Which, again, if they kick him out of the company, does that affect the TV deals? Maybe, because McMahon's not running it.
Yeah. And does a major media company want to get in? What's WWE without a McMahon to them? To them, that might be a totally different thing. It's like the same way Star Wars was sold from George Lucas to Disney, right? And we talk about buyouts and different things like that. Did Disney want to buy a Star Wars that had George Lucas at the helm, or do they want to buy Star Wars and really go with it in their own direction and do some different things with it? That's a debate that people have now. And what were they doing? I think you can apply those same things to WWE, which is an IP that has a universe of fans, generations of fans. It has these cherished things that people watch and attend live, and these kind of mythical characters that are modern pop culture in the same way that Marvel or DC are, but in a completely different presentation sometimes. Big companies want that with streaming deals. WWE will still be a property that people want to buy for the library alone. If WWE stopped doing shows, you'd still want to spend millions of dollars to have that tape library, and you could watch any WrestleMania ever whenever you want. That's expensive. It's worth it, and people want to watch that stuff whenever they want to watch it.
And I mentioned this earlier on our Top Story broadcast this afternoon or this early evening. I go, Vince has had a lot of things come up against him, and he's always come out on top.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if Johnny Laurinaitis, don't be surprised if I'm the fall guy and I got to wish myself the best in my future endeavors.
Yeah. And also the crazy thing is I haven't seen fans get mad at him for having the personal judgments and all these different things. I haven't seen that. It's all the legal stuff. And that's certainly interesting. Where is that coming together? How much more has to be investigated? Is there more people involved? It's such a developing story and it's so raw. And I think 20 years ago, culture as we know it would have been a lot more judgmental about this. And there would have been a lot more severe instant reactions to this.
I don't know. I mean, because this almost sounds like it happened not that long ago. If they increase that woman's pay, if the allegations and the stuff that was reported to the Wall Street Journal were true, if they increased her pay in 2021, when did this happen? Did this happen a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? When did this happen? Did they increase her pay and then cut people because they increased her pay? There are so many levels that we don't know about on this that could really unravel over the next who knows how long. This could get worse before it gets better.
Or we don't hear anything about it forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just sits there and it's business as usual. But certainly, obviously, a lot of people claiming, corporate espionage and corporate takeovers. And it's just like the Showtime show Billions and all these different things. And it's this family with this empire. There's so much speculation. The amount of texts that I've gotten today, I thought were really, really high this past weekend with the really sad Jeff Hardy story. This is even hard. That Jeff Hardy story is getting worse too by the day too. Yeah. The more stories we're learning about that, and we won't go into it because we've been up here too late already.
Some are thinking you wrestled drunk. It's like, Jesus, that's like,
and mind you, I don't want to run with that and say that as something. No. It's a running rumor, but we're waiting for some more information to kind of come together on that. So I'll leave that one as it is. Other people saying, Allison saying, I don't see no difference because Jeff, why so Naomi? People gotta type in what happened to people doing these comments that are like
Raj Giri shooting back at his haters. Remember how mad all you were when I said Charlotte and Andrade were still engaged and together? I wonder how their honeymoon went. It's not like Raj is just pulling things out of his ass.
No,
and
Raj
Sean
isn't
Ross,
that guy. Yeah,
and Sean Ross Sapp has even said himself that he's got good sources. So
for sure. Allison saying, I don't see no difference because Jeff, why so? I don't see anything different for Naomi and Sasha. It's the same thing. They didn't do anything wrong, so it's not as bad for women to do it too. I comparing the Jeff Hardy thing and Sasha and Naomi, that's just such a silly internet argument to get into. They're two completely different circumstances with two completely different situations. So I wouldn't try and get caught in that rat nest of a conversation that doesn't have any beginning, middle, or end. It's a pointless conversation.
Nothing to do with each
other. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself.
Those things have nothing to do with each other.
I was trying to sign off 10 minutes ago. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and getting behind these stories. As you said, this is developing story. If this isn't a real story, maybe this show gets taken down. And we'll follow up with more clear details on that. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Kev Kellum. You can follow him at JB Huskers. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and follow SK Wrestling _. SK Wrestling _. Go follow that on the Twitter machine as well. I'm on the Instagram at Kev Kellum 6. I just put up some comedy clips. I will be at the Laughing Tap Comedy Club this Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Go buy your tickets at MilwaukeeComedy.com. That's MilwaukeeComedy.com. Also, this Sunday, you can catch me doing a Father's Day show at 6:30 at Lakefront Brewery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Beer City, USA. Am I going to drink a lot of beer? Yes.
What?
Am I going to eat a lot of cheese curds? Yes. I'm
what?
Do all of those things, and I'm going to yell my jokes. Do I do jokes about wrestling? On a week like this, I have to. So on a week like this, I have to do jokes about wrestling. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing. It's very critical. It's very critical, especially in times like this with everything going on and all the speculation. When you watch the guys and the gals out there get in the ring and they want to tell their story and slam each other for your entertainment, don't get too lost in the timeline of comments and speculation. Just remember, even though we contribute to it, we're still fans just like you, and we report the facts as they become available. Please take a deep breath and do this one thing when you watch wrestling. And what's that, Jeremy?
That is to enjoy wrestling. Yeah.
Talk to them.
Let me talk to you. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Elvis has left the building.